This is a Halo Polecat.
The groove, I think it gets more hate than it probably deserves.
You're puckered every single hole, like every hole.
I just got in last night with my guy Crawdaddy.
There are no tee shot grenades planned for this week.
I'm feeling really good, and the course is mostly the same. They got renumbered, but for the most part, the holes are playing the same. I don't think it's going to play like that much different as far as scoring.
The course is switched around, which I really enjoy the flow of. I got to the hole that I won on, and I was like, man, I wish I could throw it up there for 2 or something. Whatever.
I really like the course here. I've always loved it. I think it's just a beautiful property, and I like the design of the holes. It requires different kind of shots, and it's a very fair course. You just have to execute here. A couple of the holes that used to be almost like guaranteed birdies for women, I feel like are now very tough to get a birdie on. So it will be interesting how it plays out, and it's hard to depict any scores because it depends on the wind, I guess. But I feel like there's still a lot of birdies out there, and I'm hoping to get them.
Honestly, I think this one and Preserve are kind of like the hardest tournaments to win on tour, and people look at me like, why? Because you got to play so freaking good at these. There's not as much trouble. Everybody's so damn good with the driver. I mean, everybody's good with the driver. We need wind like this on this course, actually.
I hope it's windy this week. I like playing here in the wind because it makes a lot more scoring separation. And there's new baskets out here. We're not playing on the Prodigy baskets anymore, so they look bigger. So it looks like putting might be a little easier in the wind. They're veterans, right, out here? Yeah, I know people complain about them a lot, but these baskets, they look huge. I don't know how people don't like playing on them. I love them. I like the changes to the flow of the course. I think it's makes some of the tougher holes a little bit easier for me.
The changes are in my favor, I would say. The ones that I can think of are a par 4 that has taken off some of the left area. It's now out of bounds, so it takes a really hard power hyzer to play through that. It's to my advantage, I would say. And then old hole 17 turned into a par 3. I think it plays really good for a power sidearm, which I've got as well. So
I think the changes have been great. The new Tournament Central and experience is going to be a little bit better. I do miss the old hole 1, which is now hole 11. I do think it was one of the most iconic starting holes on tour. The new old hole 14, which is now hole 1, is still giving that good drive bomber experiences on hole 1. So Brad is the tournament director and course designer. He's known and grown with this land, and he's designed a couple courses so far. So I think, yeah, he makes the initial kind of, hey, this is what I'm thinking for next year, and then we kind of run with it. And if we see any flags, we'll let them know, and we'll either, if we don't, we sign off, and it's good for the next year.
There's one small change and one huge change. Old hole 15, which is now hole number 2, it was, one of the shortest, one of the quote-unquote easiest holes on the entire Disc Golf Pro Tour, right? It was designed to be an easy hole before the hard finishing 16, 17, and 18. And so if you miss that, if you made a par, if you even made a bogey on it, it's in your brain as you're finishing 16, 17, 18. So now that it's hole 2, we pushed it way up on the hill just to make it a little bit more challenging. And then the second change is the big change that I'm saddest about is, I am sitting on the tee box of old hole 17 right now. So old hole 17 used to be this beautiful par 4 dogleg. We cut it down to where it's now a par 3. And we put the tee shot exactly where a perfect tee shot would end up from old hole 17. Hole 1 is a very iconic hole 1. People come from all across the country every week to play this course. And it's so cool to see people drive up in the parking lot, get out of their car, and it's staring at them, right? Everybody's eyes get huge, and there it is. So I didn't want to lose that. And so that's why we moved it to hole 14. We'll put the grandstands behind it, and you can still see the full flight of the disc. It's still a long, powerful shot, just like old hole 1. Hole 18, in my opinion, is one of the best holes on the entire tour. And it's a fantastic disc golf hole. The problem with it is you can't see it. If you're a VIP and you're standing behind the tee box, you can't really see where a drive lands. If you're behind the green waiting for him to come up, all you see is a disc come up over the hill and you have no idea who threw it. So with as great of a hole it is, it's not very good for spectators. Now the new hole 18 is going to be visible from the tee shot to the green. We can have people surrounding the entire thing and see it from all angles. So if that drama's coming down to hole 18, now everybody can be there and see it.
I'm really interested to see how 18 now plays. I still think, depending on the one, you're probably going to see a ton of layups. It's just not the most scoreable hole. But I'm curious to see if a lot of people play old 18. I feel like people may take that take a little more cautious approach to it because they don't feel like they need strokes, coming down the last, their last hole in the pass.
I feel like if you can get to hole 18 with a 2-stroke lead, you can almost guaranteed win. But with that other hole, you couldn't. I don't know. It's just going to have to be like a birdie fest down the stretch. And then hole 5, I guess if you're down 1, you can go for it and really like do that hero shot. It makes for like a cool ending, but I definitely like hole 18, the old one, better.
It is a 2-stroke game. Anything can happen there. But like if it is 2 strokes, like the person who's winning is probably just laying up and then getting a 3. So I don't know. I'm not sure that you can see as big of stroke swings on that as you could on old 18. Old 18, like double bogey, was just as much in play as a birdie.
People want to know, are you bagging the Halo groove?
I have not thrown the Halo groove yet. No, I do have a box of them waiting for me, but I have not got a chance to throw them. That was my go-to distance driver when I was like playing in advance though. So I got approached by, the people at the factory store. They wanted to do something for April Fools, and I was like, sure, let's do it. But yeah, I have not gotten a chance to throw them. I'm very interested to see how they fly. The groove, I think it gets more hate than it probably deserves just by how it feels. I think it actually flies pretty good. I haven't thrown it in a long time, but I remember it flying really good for me back in the day.
Beth at 69.
I just told myself, you just got to will this one in there. Whatever you have, just will it in there.
This man is unbelievable. This is what athletes live for. This is the moment.
To be number 1, it's as simple as that. Kristen's number 1. She's pretty good. I guess just somehow become better than Kristen, if that's possible.
The skill level and the way these ladies are performing, it just keeps rising, and I think it's so inspirational and keeps everyone on their toes and working hard. So I think it's incredible time to witness and be in the mix with all the best players. My game felt very good. There was a lot of forehands on the course, so I think it suited my game and Owen's game, and we were like battling it out on the course, and it was so nice to have somebody keep me on my toes. I think it was one of the best practice to have. I was super close to having all the rounds really hot, but just messed up a couple of holes. Yeah, I think overall it was a good weekend.
When you tap into a victory against a strong field, you remember that you can. And, so much of being on tour is remembering that you can't. You're just overwhelmed with the talent that's on tour, and you kind of get this idea that, man, it's going to have to take everything I've got and a little bit of luck on my side. But when you get a win, it kind of refreshes that memory that like things can come together. You can play your best game and you can be in contention, and who knows what happens after that. It's pretty wild to think that I am in a place where, although I still feel incredibly competitive in the sport, I am definitely at the latter years of my professional touring days. Knowing that I'm the veteran, knowing that the guy that's number 1 in the world is less than half my age.
I'm ranked as number 11 in the world, and I don't feel like I'm the 11th best player in the world. People have built these expectations for me, and I'm just like, if you think I'm going to win every tournament, you're going to be disappointed. Like it's not an easy thing to do. I don't really know what I feel like right now. I'm just like playing right now. I'm just cruising.
I feel pressure from my family because I don't want to disappoint them, even though they love me no matter what. I feel pressure from the people because I know they want to watch me do good. And I feel a lot of pressure, the most pressure, from myself because I don't want to let anyone down. I want to be the best that I can be, but sometimes it's just not like that. And that's just part of that process. The putting in my sidearms, dude. I've been throwing some of my sidearms just absolutely sideways, and I haven't been putting the way that I know how to putt. I've been really mental about it, which sucks because I think I'm good at putting. But right now, I'm kind of like backsliding a little bit, but I am getting better. You have to ride the wave, at least I do. Some people can work through it, and I think it's smart to get out there and work your stuff, but for me, I really enjoy just letting the process happen and learning as I go, because that's just the way I do, man.
Recently, I've been really stressed out with how the results have been going so far, but it's almost all due to my backhand comfortability. And so I've been working so hard on that, and I've seen so much improvements lately on that. I would say this is going to be my best finish of the year. All my focus has been on throwing the disc and getting that feel back. In order to play good out here, you've got to be throwing hard backhands on hyzers. And so that's been my focus for the past few weeks. And I have been seeing great results lately. So I'm excited.
There's more tournaments that I care more about later in the season, and there's not really any reason for me to push it right now. No forehands. It's possible if I come down the stretch and maybe need one that I might try to bust one out. But for now, I think it's pretty much strict no forehands, which I think for the most part you're okay without out here. It's going to depend on some wind directions. There's definitely a couple of holes that are going to play way harder.
It's been like a recent thing, like mentally, I just feel more confident with like a turnover or like a anhyzer release on a backhand than I do with a sidearm. It hasn't been working for me with the touch sidearm upshot, so I know I'm good at that backhand, so I just don't even need to throw it really. My down tempo, like force over, like flex shots is like probably my best shot right now. I definitely have the confidence build that's propelled me to play like elite level every single week, so I think the win helped, and hopefully this one will help even more and make me play even better.
I think it's easy to necessarily get caught up in the bigger picture and look at, you know, where this event sits on the calendar, what I've done in the past, but none of it really matters. I still have to come out here and execute the same shots regardless of how I performed in the past. The only expectations I have are for me to stay focused for, you know, three rounds of tournament play.
Just give myself opportunities for birdies and make all the putts. I feel like the putting game is super strong amongst women, and if you have an opportunity, you have to capitalize. I just like the course as it is, like a combination of different shots, and I think it's just a nice golf course. So I just like it the way it is.
I love this course. It's always been one of my favorites. It's just beautiful. It feels like disc golf heaven, really does. And I'm excited to play this tournament.
Before I answer any of your questions, I gotta plug this in. This is a Halo polecat. You know, it's mine. It's on the end of a sight. You need to go get it. So that's pretty much it.
Honestly, the only question I really cared about is, since you've had time to sit and think on it, what's your favorite song off 2093?
It's gonna be Never Quit. The beat change is just crazy. I love that song.